Carey and Maoumba, both you guys are Notary Publics
Yes.
for the state of Florida?
Yes.
They forgive you guys. How much they pay you guys for acknowledgement out there? What's the price? Just out of curiosity, right now, how much is per signature for acknowledgement or affidavit?
So Florida is $10, the most you can do right now.
For
$10?
$10.
Here in California, it bumped up a few years ago to $15 per signature.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Back in the old days, it was $10.
Yes.
But there are states. Yeah, there are states out there that's a little bit less than $10.
Yeah.
$5, yeah. So since we talk about financing and money-wise, compared to a fingerprint roller for the profit, like a rolling fee, what's the pros and cons between you doing fingerprinting for a person versus the Notary Public, a notary service for the public?
Well,
what's the pros and cons with the pricing?
Big pros and cons. Pros and cons is one thing. You would have to do actually 4 to 5 sealed documents. And what I mean by sealed document, that's considered a notarized document. It's $10 per document to possibly even get what you would make off one FD 258 ink card. Just rolling it, because you can charge it. Just say you charge a minimum of $50 just to roll an ink card. Whereas you meeting 4 or 5 different documents, you're only needing one document. And if you do 2 fingerprint FD 258 cards, you've made $100.
Yes.
Whereas now you got to do 10 documents. And it's very rare that a person has 10 single documents at one particular time to be notarized, unless
loan docs.
Yes, you're doing a loan signing agreement, and then you only then the company has already negotiated a price with you for that particular loan signing agreement, whereas you may agree to do it for $150, and you got a print. There's other pros that goes with that, because now you got to make sure you got ink. You got to make sure you got the right paper. You got to make sure you print off all these documents. You got to keep all these documents in order. You got to make sure that you don't miss signing, else you got to go back. Plus, then you got to make sure it is mailed back to the company within a certain length of time. So there's gas, postage, time, supplies. So all this is eaten into that $200 profit that you agreed upon. So actually, when you subtract all that out, you're still back down to maybe $100.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. My experience on both sides, pretty much. Well, I got more experience fingerprinting do as a notary, but I've been a notary since 1994. I did take a break since COVID-19, so I got a little bit of experience by being a Notary Public also. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. So as a Notary Public, you have the paperwork with you when you go provide the services to the public. Most of the time you bring it with you, or they may have it on site, but typically they have the paperwork that you need to get the things done. But is that always the case for fingerprint roller? Do they always have the right paperwork, the right ORI number, the right live scan form when you get there? Are they asking for ink card, but they really need live scan? So there's a pros and cons of that too. Yes, the price might be a big difference, but half the time they may not be prepared to get fingerprinted, even though they tell you that they are.
But even when you go in and get the pros and cons of that as well, even with a notarized document, sometimes you have to make sure you have a JARET in place, because they may require JARET for that particular item that you're notarizing. So, so there's other additional paperwork that you may have to also provide for that client to notarize that document as well. Like you said, with an FD 258 ink card, you may have to provide them with that. But
true,
if you do provide them with that additional ink card, you can charge them for that supply. You can't charge them for a JARET.
You cannot.
Wait. You mean the piece of paper you're talking about? This, you're notarizing the JARET.
I can't charge. Charge them.
That's the additional form. You need the additional form.
The form. Okay.
Yes, because if the paper is,
I have to make sure that I print it, I fill it out. That's my time. Time is money. Money is time. So, but if you need the additional ink card that I carry with me, I can charge you $20 for that additional, or $25 for that additional ink card.
Yes.
Because you're gonna fingerprint them.
If I fingerprint you the additional ink card, that's $50 additional. That's another separate ink card.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Because there are some places out there, people come by just to pick up an ink card, or they want to get fingerprinted, but they don't bring an ink card. So there's places out there who charge you to purchase their ink card, and they're going to charge you the fingerprint on that ink card.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Understood. That makes sense then.
Yes. So to me, notary is just like you eating a bowl of soup and you need some crackers or some cornbread to go with it.
Did you say cornbread?
Yes. Yeah. When you're doing notary alone, you gotta have something to go with it.
Yes, that's true.
To make it work for you, because it's not enough meat on the bone for you to get full. You won't get full.
You can make a decent income doing one or the other or both, depending on your market and who you go after. We all know that there. But for me, I did realize down the line, like you brought up before, one ink card, based on what I'm charged for the ink card, compared to one notarization, typically you can make at least twice as much doing one ink card compared to one notarization. One signature, typically. All depends on what you're charging. Now, some folks will go ahead and charge on the same price for the ink card compared to notarization. That's on you guys. And just quite evident you didn't take our training program. I'm going to keep it real. But you could do 2 or 3 notarizations or one ink card and make more money doing the ink card.
Exactly.
And will state that you're in for notarization. Some notarizations are very low compared to other states, extremely low. But it's a service the public still needs. And sometimes that notarization brings in additional foot traffic, so you can use it as an upsell to other services you have at your office.
True.
Yeah, because sometimes, like Carey said, they might come there sometime with not the right paperwork, but they might need fax services. They might make you make photocopies of something else. Additionally, they might want you to mail off things once your notarization is done, because they don't have time to do it. So you could charge them different things like that. But there are pros and cons. And one thing we just shared with you folks right now is the pricing. As a notarization per signature is regulated by the state you reside in as a notary. They tell you how much you're going to make per that signature. You don't have to say so. I don't care if it's $3 a signature or high as $15 per signature. Loan docs is something a little bit different depending on what you agreed upon there. But compared to a live scan, yes, there's regulations on what you could charge for the government fee, but your rolling fee, your profits, you set it for yourself.
Yes. So
that part's not regulated. And in most cases, you're not required to take some type of annual, every 4-year testing, or the case may be where you state, to keep your certification going for notarization, for fingerprinting, because most states don't have a state license requirement to fingerprint. But all the states that I'm aware of have a requirement to take your testing on a regular basis to maintain your certification to be a Notary Public. So it's more regulated.
Yes.
It's a lot more regulated. So that's the thing to be aware of there. So, but what's the benefits of being a notary, and also the benefits of doing fingerprinting? Maoumba, what's your benefits of being a Notary Public?
That's a good question. I mean, as a notary, you can specify which type of field you want to be as a notary. If you want to become like a field inspector or apostille, and there's different type of field that you can do as a notary.
A lot of spin-offs.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
Fingerprint, I don't know.
Field agent, certain things.
Yeah.
Loan doc signing. Yeah, it's a spin-off there. So the income is there. It's just a lot. You have to hustle a lot. And like Carey said, unless you organize, you have to print out those documents. You got to organize them, tab them up, make sure you get there, they're nice and neat. They're going to actually tell us a question which you're not supposed to answer those questions for them because you're not the agent or attorney. But we know how that goes sometimes. But it's a lot of work just prepared just to get out there to make that money. Yes. So as a notary, you might make X amount of dollars governed by your state, but your preparedness, your travel, and your mobile service fees and stuff like that is something you can add on top of that there.
Right.
You know, and negotiate that.
And make sure that the customers are willing to sign willingly.
Yeah.
Because if they're not willing to, then we cannot sign those documents.
Yes.
We see that a lot. I do see that a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot of red tape. It's more red tape wrapped around being a notary. You don't have the freedom as you do doing fingerprint.
Yes.
And there's two different guidelines too comes to verifying the identity of somebody.
Exactly. Yes.
Two different worlds.
Yes.
Two different worlds. For those out there who are doing fingerprint rolling, but not a notary, or vice versa, understand there's two different processes of accepting some type of document. I ain't saying ID, I'm saying document to fingerprint them or provide notarization services. For example, if you're doing fingerprinting, depending what state you reside in, you'd be able to fingerprint somebody without a picture ID.
Yep.
But there's other things you need to have presented to you to fingerprint them. But let me repeat myself. As a fingerprint roller in most of the states, you're able to fingerprint them without a picture ID. But there's other things you need to have in lieu of that. Well, the same thing with notarization too, but if you got the credible witness, but we ain't talking about that part right there. But in most cases, you need to have some type of picture ID to prove government ID to the notarizations. And question for you folks there who's watching this one here: if you're doing a notarization to have a passport by itself, are you able to do notarization with the passport by itself?
Right.
You know, something to think about there. Now, ask the same question. If the person comes to me with just a passport by themselves and nothing else, am I allowed to fingerprint them in the state of California? If you guys don't know that answer, you better give us a call here, become a member, or contact DOJ for California. Because if I come to you in California with a passport by itself, per the guidelines of the Department of Justice for California, you're not supposed to fingerprint me.
Right.
Just by passport by itself. Because it's weighed differently. So there's different guidelines you guys should be aware of. Don't get them mixed up and get them twisted, because it's different agencies. In California, you get the Secretary of State for notarizations, and for California, you got the Department of Justice for the fingerprint rollers. Two different agencies, two different guidelines, which might be the same case where you guys at now watching this video. Just keep that in mind. It's very regulated on both sides, but it's a lot more regulated on being a notarization.
Yes.
It's a lot more exposed out there. Thus, you need to have that insurance, to protect you.
The insurance, yes, definitely.
They have to make sure that bond is in place.
It's high. That bond has to be high.
Yeah, they have. I think Florida requires a $25,000 bond, if I'm not mistaken.
It depends what state.
The bond is $7,500, and then the EO it can be $25,000 to $100,000.
Yeah,
I recommend the EO to be higher.
Yes. Yes.
That is true. But each state has different guidelines about the bonds and stuff like that. So double check with your government agency for those out there who are notaries or plan to be one for clarification. Another thing to be aware of regarding fingerprinting versus notary is how you're able to tell a person you could fingerprint them, or you could tell them to get out your office, or which is different from a notarization. You just can't kick them out your office just because you like the hairstyle for Notary Public. As a fingerprint roll, it's different guidelines. So what I'm trying to say is there's also some compliance you get to follow as for doing Notary Public services to the public. You just can't say no all the time. There's some specific reason I have to deny that person to do Notary Public, to do notarizations. That's not the case for fingerprinting. It's your business. You have to say so.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure it's a good reasons behind it, because it is your business to maintain it in a good standard with the public. So there's a lot of restrictions on both sides, but it's a lot more stringent as a Notary Public.
Yes, it is.
Now, go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
No, I was just agreeing with you that there is just a whole lot. It's a total different ballgame, because you have to constantly stay up to date with your state laws and regulations, because they're constantly changing. And you have to also, there's certain things that GW was saying, you have to keep them checking. You got to know what your stamp and seal, make sure it's locked up. You can't go and notarize a document and leave your journal laying on the back seat of your car.
Mhm.
That makes that's true.
It has to be locked.
That is true.
Yeah.
It has to be locked. If
That's
you,
true.
by me being mobile, believe it or not, as soon as I notarize the document, first thing I have to do is I turn around and either put the journal, lock it in a secure box in my car, or I got to turn around and head back home and lock that journal up. My kids can't, my wife can't. I have to lock it up.
Nobody, yeah.
That's
Same
true.
opinion, yeah.
And there are some states out there requires something similar to keeping the live scan devices secured.
Yes.
Especially here in California, we're required to make sure if it's not in use, it's put away secured. So behind the door, locked door, file cabinet, inside your file cabinet, locked up, make it secure as possible. Do not leave that in the back of your trunk while you're going shopping. Don't leave it inside your car while you're going shopping, because someone break in and take it and it's not secured.
Yeah.
You might have some challenges trying to get another live scan device approved, especially in the state of California, because I left in my car and the window was rolled down. It's not secure, and it gets the terms and conditions. So be very careful where you leave your items at when you walk away. Make sure they're secure the best as possible.
Yeah.
So there's some issues with that right there. Another thing is liability, because you have those E&Os for being a notary, because people will sue you. Sometimes that $10 signature, the $15 signature, or $5 or $3, depending what state that you're in, could cost you thousands of dollars being sued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you have to protect yourself there. Now, you get liabilities too if you fingerprint the wrong way. You might get some headaches and stuff like that, but the potential of financial risk is far less compared to being a notary.
Yes.
You're talking homes, you're talking livelihood, you're talking these multi-million-dollar deals. These people ain't playing around with their money. Okay, they're not playing around. Well, ink card, you got a little bit more of a forgiveness there, because sometimes you mess with a fingerprint card, you just do it again because you're going for a job or license. There's wiggle room there, not as much, but there is slight wiggle room there. But try not to make any mistakes to begin with.
Yeah, another thing, you want to be careful too, because people say your friend. You realize there's a lot of scams going on out there.
Yes.
Oh yes, that's
people
the big
will
issue.
come to you because they know you.
Oh yeah, it happened to me.
Man, come on, man. We've been in school 10 years together. Just notarize this for me.
That's right.
Here go $20. Just notarize it. And
that'll get you in trouble.
Get you in a conversation, throw your mind off to talking about this and that. Now you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Next thing you know, you notarize it, and you don't have even read the document, know what the document consists of, or anything, and it can come back to bite you.
And also, I've seen from one of my neighbors, what should we do? Should we have a piece of paper, do the stamp, and give it to the people? Don't do that, guys. That's big liability. Don't just put the stamp anywhere and give it a blank paper, because you're not supposed to do that as a notarist.
Yes.
Yeah, they will try you. They're very crafty out there.
And I should put a ink fingerprint or live scan helps identify who a person is to address the issue of fraud. Because they're going to lie about who they are and they get fingerprinted. Their prints are in the system. They're going to get caught. They're going to get caught.
Yes.
Or I see as being a notarization, being a notary, it helps mitigate the potential of fraud. It helps reduce the issue of having to do with fraud. Make them think twice by doing something stupid. But once you got your fingerprints, if you did something stupid, you're going to get caught.
Yes.
One is like a deterrent. I see notarization is more like a deterrent to make sure they be up and honest best they can about it. But people still will lie about who they are and do fraudulent things with notarizations. That's no reason why you should have that insurance, because sometimes you might have a fake ID. Well, you won't even know it, but it's still fraud. But with the fingerprint, they're not Tom Cruise. They're not Mission Impossible. They just can't change your fingerprints every 10 seconds. So there's some reasons for identify a person, but I believe the fingerprint has a better way of identifying who they are or matching them up on who they are versus an ID card or a certain a government ID. It's hard to change your fingerprints compared to changing your name. Big difference there.
And also, if you notarize online, I have a friend who had been scammed. He notarized the person online, and then the school called him back. Did you notarize that person? The person forged his signature on the document. So make sure when you got journal on your journal, be detailed about what type of document you sign, what type of note was on the document, because a lot of time people will use your signature or your stamp to scan for themselves. So be aware of that. Just be careful.
And to be honest, I've been doing it now for almost 6 to 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for it. Me personally, my preferred preference, give me fingerprints all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much. It's too much. It's not enough. Like I said, it's not enough money. You're not gonna make enough money. First of all,
Yeah.
and it's so hard. You have to realize too, trying to build a customer base for us as a notary is extremely hard.
Takes time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You have to go in, learn all the different things you need to learn, and try to teach somebody else, become a teacher. Whereas you got people enrolling into you to learn how to become a licensed notary or whatever, and you making money off of that end of it. But trying to actually learn and do it, it's just not enough money in it. Even if you go in as a loan signing agent, because it's so hard to get into these loan signing companies. It's so hard
Saturated. Yeah.
to get into these banks, and it's just you find yourself really wearing yourself out for a little bit of money.
Yeah.
The market did change the past couple of years a lot since COVID-19.
Yes.
It really did change.
Yeah,
A lot of folks jump into it because they could do it from home, which makes sense. And there's money there, but nobody, I should put, not everyone's out there making over $100,000 a year doing notarizations. Some are, but most of them not.
yes.
And some are making $10,000 or $5,000 a month doing that, which is a good thing. But most of the people are not doing that. It takes time to build the market. It takes time
to
to
build
get
the
a
market,
good
yes.
contract and go from there.
I think most of the ones that are making that 10,000 plus are specializing in one particular field part of notary.
Yeah.
And they specialize in that field, and they're good at it in that field. And that's like, for instance, they specialize in nothing but loan signing. That's all they do. Because I remember the lady actually who I met when I was closing on my house, who introduced me to make me want to become a notary. And that's all she does is loan signing. She don't touch. She does loan signing and teach other people to become notaries. She has a class and things like that. And that's all she does. That's how she makes her money.
Well, let's flip the script. Same thing with fingerprinting. Let's take ink card fingerprinting. Yes, you can make more money doing one ink card compared to one notarization, but you have to get out there first and learn how to effectively learn how to fingerprint to begin with, not just half-assed, but effectively do it to get more clientele.
Yeah.
And once you build your market, you have to stay on top of it.
Yes.
Because there's everybody out there now seeing 1-2 videos online think they know how to fingerprint, but they don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm just keeping it real, folks. If you watch one of the folks there, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm just keeping it real. But they're doing things the wrong way, and that might get them in trouble.
Yes.
Okay. And folks, keep this in mind. A lot of folks out there right now telling you how you should do fingerprinting or something else. Well, their license is not a state. In California, we have a fingerprinting license. We cannot tell you the lie. We have to keep things real. We can't hype nothing up. We keep things real because we have a license at stake. So when you do certain things to compare the apples and oranges, just be careful what you're doing. Look who's sharing this information with you. And they have been doing it since they're 17, 18 years old, like I have. Have been notary since 1990s, like I have. Been there, done that. I work both sides. I know how it goes. But just be careful when you do it.
Yes.
Weigh up the pros and cons of both. What about the startup costs? For fingerprinting, the startup cost may be higher if you're going to do live scan fingerprinting. There's a startup cost with that. But for ink card, it's a lot less of a business investment to start doing ink card fingerprinting. There's a startup cost on being a notary. Every 4 years in California, you get to reinvest your training, which is a good thing. But it's a cost. It's a recurring expenses.
Yes.
So for fingerprint roll in California, just a one-time license. It's lifetime certification. So there's pros and cons to both. Just be careful about the startup cost and how much you're going to invest into it. To do mobile fingerprinting, it's a cost to learn how to do it the right way.
Yes.
Not just driving somebody's place and go thumb real fast and you look like all your stuff is all janky. You're also going to teach me how to do it online because your stuff is janky? No.
Yep.
No. wherever you do notarizations or mobile fingerprinting or mobile notary services, come professional.
Yep.
Do your homework and stick with it for a while because it's not an overnight success in most cases.
Nope.
There's pros and cons of both. And for me personally, which one I choose overall, I'll probably say I would do both. But the past couple of years, I did take a break. Since 1994, it's a lot of notarizations I've done, 20 plus years, a lot of notarizations. But you have to decide what's best for your business model.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you might do a mobile service for notarization and you don't do fingerprinting, but the other person they're going to call could do both. You lost that sale.
Yes.
Or you might do fingerprinting, but you don't do notarization. This person might say, I do both. They might call the person instead.
Yep.
Now, the fingerprints might be half-assed, but the client doesn't know that. The person might get rejected. They might call you afterwards, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But come correct either way. If you're notary, learn this stuff.
Yes.
Study for these exams. Take ongoing training on a regular basis and know what you're doing.
Yes.
And quit trying to second guess yourself by looking at all these so-called videos online, trying to give you the hacks and secrets how to do it overnight. They got some good folks out there that does good training for notarizations. Take advantage of it all the time. Network. Same thing with fingerprinting. There's some good associations out there, like the National Light Skin Association, but network and grow your business.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Please grow your business.
Yep.
For me, like I said, I do both, but I have more emphasis right now for fingerprinting since COVID-19.
Yeah.
Because a lot more folks in the medical field need it.
Yeah.
The environment might change around. Later on the housing market might jump back up, jump back down. One way a house can be bought and sold, regardless can be bought and sold. So there's a need for loan doc signing agents.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay in that market, but don't work for free.
Exactly.
Right? Now, Carey, you mentioned something here where somebody regulate to you how much you're going to charge your client. We're going to pay you $90 for this loan doc signing agent. Okay. If I need it, I'm starving. I need $90 to fill up halfway fill up my gas tank with $90. I might do it. Okay.
But see, the thing of it is, that's why I if I were to pursue more notaries, it would be only on that side, on the loan signing agency side. The reason why I would do that, because it gives me the opportunity to negotiate.
Yeah, you can negotiate. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have that leeway if I'm just notarizing a single document where the state has already put a limitation on me.
Yes.
But if I'm doing loan signing, whereas the loan company or the bank, whoever is requesting this information, has to physically contact me and we have to verbally come to a mutual agreement, that gives me a leeway to at least input, like, okay, you want to give me $90? Fine. Then you pre-print the documents and mail the documents to me, and I deliver them to the homeowner and mail it back to you.
That makes sense.
So that way it won't cut into my cost. Only my expenditure would be my time, my gas,
You guys.
and postage. And you can send me a self-addressed envelope.
That's it. Yeah.
Now, a lot of folks get paid $90 to $100, or maybe $120, but they're so busy running around trying to get these loan docs all day long, they drive themselves ragged.
Yeah.
Yes, you can make some cash flow, but how much time and effort that you put into it to make that money? Because some time is money.
Right.
A lot of folks, I made $200 today. Okay, I drove 4 hours up and back, each way. There's still a profit, but gas is no cheap. In those 4 hours, I could do 4 ink cards in 1 hour. Or heck, that's far less than that there.
Right.
I could do really 8 ink cards an hour if I choose to. But that's a lot more money in 1 hour what the person did for that day.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose, I guess, once you guys just really think about based off your needs, to evaluate both of these, live scan versus ink card. If you do both, perfect. But sometimes you might have to turn down the loan doc signing agent for the $150 and do maybe 4 ink cards instead at your office within 30 minutes for the same amount of money.
Same amount of money.
Okay? Or like Carey said, negotiate your rate. Like for us, and guys, ladies, break out your pants. I'm going to give some free information right now how you should start learning how to be more productive. Now, for us, to step on the elevator, do one ink card or to step on the elevator and do one Gerard or whatever the case may be, we have a minimum service fee. Minimum fee just to step outside the elevator, on the elevator. The reason why, because the stress. How many times you step in the elevator and it goes down a little bit? That ink card is heavy. You know, you step with the ink card, the elevator goes down like that. Oh man, my back is killing me. Or you got spent with you for your notarization, you step in the elevator and it goes down a little bit. Hey, that's the elevator fee.
Yeah.
For me to step on that elevator, minimum, we're talking at least $90+.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned
They won't pay you that. Hey, you can take our training programs.
there's one thing also you guys mentioned that Professor, when you mentioned that if you do a fingerprint and you make a mistake, you can always redo it over and over again. But if you're loan signing and you messed up, the company that you have the service, if you messed up, they remove you on the list.
Yes,
This
and
is
they don't
why.
have, and then a lot of them you have to fight them to get your money. Because
Yes.
they don't.
Wait. I'm sorry. You don't get paid up front for
No,
loan
no,
box signing
no,
agency?
loan signing agency.
Oh my gosh, I forgot
Most
about
of
not getting paid until that deal goes through, if it goes through.
No.
Yes.
That's why it's good to
Yeah.
negotiate, because guess what? Most
Mhm.
loan signing companies only pay you every 15 days or every 30 days.
30 days, yes.
But
So
it's
you-
direct deposit, right?
No, not necessarily. It depends.
They're
You
gonna
gotta-
mail you the check. The check is in the mail.
Exactly.
Okay, I got
Check
you.
is in the
And do
mail.
not make any mistake, because if you make a mistake, they will never call you back. They will put you on
Yeah.
a
And
blacklist.
it does happen from time to time. But if you
Yes.
guys plan to do fingerprinting services,
It's better.
look, if it's a live scan and you ain't got your money yet, I'll think twice by hitting that submit button until you got paid.
See, that's
And that's just some
that's why
personal
I-
experience. Okay.
When you go do that, guess what? Before after you got all the prints, you already reviewed them. You let the customer know, okay, this what your TCN number going to be when I hit send. But
Yes.
before I can hit send, may I have your credit card, please? I need to run your payment through. Once you get that approval on that credit card, then your email address, I'll gladly email you a receipt with your TCN number on it. Have a good day. See, because yes, I
So
actually
there is a risk sometimes not getting paid either way, but the risk is a bit greater being
No.
for loans.
yes.
Something you might have to wait, or the closing might be extended. And something they guarantee your money, but just not right away. So you're
Mhm.
working for free for a long time, and you financing their deals.
Yes.
You know,
Pretty
you
much,
financing
yes.
their deals because they get paid first, and what's left over, they cut you a check. They're gonna
Yes.
get their money first.
They get their money
You know,
first.
so just be aware that as for fingerprinting wise, they typically should pay you. I suggest make sure they pay you before you even start fingerprinting
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
I don't care if it's a mobile service, they come to your office. I recommend you get your money cleared, check in hand. I don't even say checks anymore. Swipe that credit card
Credit
That
card.
or direct deposit before you even go to the location and or you hit the transmit button.
Yes.